They say revenge is a dish best served cold. I prefer mine served at exactly room temperature, in front of 300 witnesses, with a microphone and professional lighting. My name is Merrin, and tonight I'm lot number 47 at the Children's Hospital charity auction. Not my services as an architect, not my vacation home in Colorado, not even my prized collection of vintage bourbon. Me, just me, the boring husband. The ballroom at the Meridian Hotel downtown Houston gleams under crystal chandeliers. Women in designer gowns clutch champagne flutes while men in $1,000 tuxedos check their phones between courses. The charity raised $2 million last year. Tonight feels bigger. "Ladies and gentlemen," announces Tessa, my wife of 12 years, her voice carrying that practiced sweetness she reserves for public appearances. "We have a very special item tonight. Lot number 47, dinner with the boring husband." Laughter ripples through the crowd. Polite at first, then gaining momentum as Tessa continues her prepared remarks. Merrin, my devoted spouse, offers adequate company, limited conversation topics, and utterly predictable dessert opinions. He'll discuss building codes for exactly 47 minutes, then switch to weather patterns, guaranteed to end by 9:30. More laughter. Someone near the bar actually applauds. I sit at table 12, wearing the navy suit Tessa selected this morning. She insisted on the conservative tie, the polished shoes, the whole respectable husband package. I smile and wave when she gestures toward me. The crowd sees exactly what she wants them to see. A harmless, dull man who married above his station. What they don't see is the leather portfolio resting beside my chair. "Bidding opens at $50, Tessa announces. Though honestly, that might be generous. The auctioneer, a silver-haired professional from Dallas, takes the microphone. "Well, folks, we've certainly never auctioned a husband before. Do I hear 50? A woman at table 3 raises her paddle. 50. 75, calls someone from the back. I catch my sister Mira's eye across the room. She sits on the charity board, helped organize tonight's event, positioned herself perfectly to document what comes next. She gives me the smallest nod, time to sweeten the deal. I stand, walk toward the stage. The auctioneer pauses, confused. Tessa's smile falters. "Excuse me," I say, reaching for the microphone. "May I?" The auctioneer hands it over. 300 faces turn toward me. The room quiets. "Thank you all for coming tonight. Before we continue, I'd like to amend the lot description." I pause, letting the silence build. Whoever wins this auction doesn't just get dinner with the boring husband. They also receive all the evidence of my wife's affair with tonight's event coordinator. The silence stretches. Someone drops a fork. "Marcus Varron," I continue, "our talented event coordinator, has been conducting private meetings with my wife for the past 6 months. Hotel receipts, restaurant bills, photographs, text messages, everything's documented." Gasps echo through the ballroom. Heads turn, searching for Marcus. I spot him near the kitchen entrance, face pale, calculating escape routes. "So let's restart the bidding," I say. "Evidence included, starting at $1. Tessa's composure cracks. Her stage smile dissolves into something raw and desperate. She takes a step backward, then another. A hand rises from table 8, Varron, Marcus's wife, elegant in midnight blue silk. $500, she says clearly. The room erupts. Conversations explode at every table. Phones emerge, cameras focus. Tessa flees the stage, Marcus following seconds later. Their exit confirms everything. "Do I hear 600? The auctioneer asks, professional instincts overriding shock. Silence. "Sold," he declares. "To the lady in blue." I hand Varron the portfolio when she approaches the stage. She opens it briefly, examines the contents, closes it with satisfaction. "Thank you," she says quietly. "I'll put this to excellent use." The crowd presses closer, questions flying, cameras flash. Someone live streams the chaos to social media. I step back to the microphone one final time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your generous support of the Children's Hospital. I hope tonight's entertainment exceeded expectations. 6 weeks earlier, I noticed the mileage. Tessa's BMW showed 847 extra miles in March. Not unusual for someone chairing a major charity event, except her calendar showed only local meetings. I'm an architect. Details matter. Numbers don't lie. The first clue came from her gym bag, a hotel keycard from the Westin downtown, dated 3 weeks ago. Tessa claimed she'd spent that afternoon at the caterer's kitchen, reviewing menu options. I called the caterer. They'd never scheduled a meeting. My sister Mira works in digital forensics for the county prosecutor's office. Family dinner conversation often involves data recovery, cloud storage, backup protocols. She taught me about automatic phone syncing, how deleted photos sometimes survive in forgotten folders. "You sure you want to know?" she asked when I explained my suspicions. "I'm already sure," I replied. "I just need proof." Mira helped me access Tessa's cloud backup legally. We shared the family account, both names on the contract. What we found exceeded my worst expectations. Text messages between Tessa and Marcus dated back 8 months, photos from restaurants I'd never visited, hotel room selfies, detailed discussions of their future together, plans that didn't include me. "Poor Hayes," read one message from Tessa. "He actually thinks I'm working late on auction planning. So trusting." Marcus's response: "After the gala, we can stop pretending. Your announcement speech will handle the rest." I printed everything, organized it chronologically, cross-referenced dates with Tessa's supposed charity meetings. The pattern emerged clearly. Every emergency board session coincided with Marcus's availability. The GPS tracker I installed in Tessa's car confirmed their routine. Tuesday afternoons at Marcus's downtown loft, Thursday evenings at the Westin, weekend site visits to locations that didn't exist. I hired a private investigator to photograph their public meetings. Nothing invasive, just documentation of their comfort level together. The pictures showed hand-holding, intimate conversations, behavior inconsistent with professional collaboration. The financial records revealed more. Marcus billed the charity $47,000 in consulting fees over 6 months. His invoices listed strategic planning sessions and donor relationship development. The dates matched his hotel stays with Tessa exactly. I contacted my accountant. "This looks like fraud," he confirmed. "The charity's tax-exempt status could be compromised." My mother founded this charity 30 years ago. I've served as the largest corporate sponsor through my architectural firm for the past decade. The organization meant everything to our family, but truth meant more. I spent 3 weeks preparing the evidence portfolio, professional binding, indexed sections, clear documentation chains. If someone was buying this information, they deserved quality presentation. Mira helped coordinate the timing. As a board member, she ensured I'd have stage access during the auction. She positioned photographers strategically, arranged for the event's live stream to capture maximum coverage. "You realize this destroys your marriage," she said the night before the gala. "My marriage was destroyed 8 months ago," I replied. "Tomorrow just makes it official." We reviewed the plan one final time. I'd wait until Tessa finished her humiliating introduction, then offer my amendment. Simple, direct, undeniable. "What about Marcus?" Mira asked. "What about him?" "His background check came back. He has a sealed fraud conviction from Nevada 5 years ago. Similar pattern, embezzling from a non-profit while sleeping with a board member's wife." I added that information to the portfolio's appendix. "And Tessa's political announcement?" Mira continued. Tessa planned to reveal her city council candidacy at tonight's gala. Campaign materials waited backstage, press releases prepared, donor commitments secured. Her political consultant expected a triumphant launch. "That's her problem now," I said. The morning of the gala, Tessa spent 2 hours perfecting her appearance. Designer gown, professional makeup, jewelry that cost more than most people's cars. She practiced her speech in the mirror, refining each pause and gesture. "You look beautiful," I told her honestly. She smiled, kissed my cheek. "Thank you for being such a good sport about tonight. I know the husband auction seems silly, but it'll raise serious money. I'm honored to help." She had no idea how much help I planned to provide. The aftermath unfolds in slow motion. Varron clutches the evidence portfolio against her chest while chaos erupts around us. Guests abandon their tables, clustering near the stage, phones recording everything. The charity's board members huddle in emergency conference. The hotel staff looks helplessly overwhelmed. I find myself surrounded by reporters. When did the media arrive? Mira must have tipped them off. "Mr. Merrin, how long have you known about the affair?" asks a woman with a Channel 7 microphone. "Long enough to document it properly." "What's your next step?" "Dinner with Mrs. Varron, apparently. She won the auction fair and square." Someone pushes closer. "Are you filing for divorce?" "That's between my attorney and me. But honestly, I've already drafted the papers. They're sitting in my car, signed and notarized, ready for Monday morning filing." Marcus hasn't returned to the ballroom. Through the windows, I spot him in the parking lot, pacing beside his Mercedes, phone pressed to his ear, probably calling his lawyer, or his therapist, or his mother. Tessa reappears near the bar, flanked by her campaign manager and 2 board members. Her makeup has been hastily repaired, but her composure remains fractured. She keeps glancing toward the exit, toward Marcus, toward me, calculating damage, measuring escape routes. I approach their huddle. "Hayes," says Janet Morrison, the board's treasurer, "we need to discuss this privately." "Nothing private about it now. The charity's reputation will survive. Truth usually helps organizations more than it hurts them." Tessa finally speaks. "You've humiliated me in front of everyone we know. I've revealed what you chose to do. There's a difference. This is vindictive and cruel. This is Tuesday afternoon at the Westin, Thursday evenings at Marcus's loft, and 8 months of lies. This is $47,000 in fraudulent consulting fees and a tax-exempt organization used as your personal dating service." Her campaign manager, a sharp woman named Patricia Sims, steps forward. "We're canceling tonight's announcement." Probably wise. "The campaign materials will make excellent recycling." Patricia's phone buzzes constantly. Other campaigns, donors, party officials, all demanding explanations for the social media explosion happening in real time. Videos of my auction amendment are already viral, shared thousands of times with hashtags like boring husband and charity scandal. Tessa's political career ended before it began. "I need those documents back," she says desperately. "Which documents?" "The evidence, the photos, everything." "Those belong to Mrs. Varron now. She paid for them." "This isn't over." "Actually, it is. Completely over." I walk away, leaving her with the wreckage of her carefully constructed evening. The charity auction continues around us. Other lots, other bidders, other causes, but everyone's attention remains fixed on our drama. Mira finds me near the silent auction tables, where people pretend to examine vacation packages while actually discussing my marriage's public destruction. "How do you feel?" she asks. "Lighter, like I've been carrying something heavy for months and finally set it down." "The board wants to meet tomorrow morning, emergency session." "About what?" "Marcus's termination, the financial irregularities, damage control." "I'll be there." "Tessa too?" "Tessa's no longer involved with this organization." We watch Varron near the coat check, still holding the evidence portfolio, accepting condolences and congratulations from other guests. Her husband's betrayal just became public knowledge, but she handles it with remarkable grace. "She knew," Mira observes. "Suspected, maybe. Now she has proof." "Think she'll use it?" "Wouldn't you?" Selah approaches us, elegant despite the evening's revelations. "Mr. Merrin, I want to thank you for tonight." "Thank you for participating. I've been gathering evidence of Marcus's infidelity for months, but lack the financial documentation. Your materials complete the picture perfectly. I'm glad they're useful. My attorney will file divorce papers Monday morning. Your evidence ensures a favorable settlement. We shake hands formally, two people whose marriages ended in the same moment for different reasons. About our dinner, she continues, I'd prefer to wait a few months, until the legal proceedings conclude. Of course. But I will honor the commitment. You seem like interesting company. More interesting than advertised, apparently. She smiles, the first genuine expression I've seen from her tonight. Much more interesting. Monday morning arrives with legal papers and media attention. I file for divorce at 8 a.m., citing irreconcilable differences and adultery. Texas is a no-fault state, but documented infidelity affects property division and spousal support calculations. My attorney, David Chen, reviewed the evidence over the weekend and pronounced it devastatingly thorough. She'll contest everything, he warns. Let her try. This could get expensive. I've been paying for her lifestyle for 12 years. What's a few more months? The charity board meeting convenes at 10 a.m. in the conference room of my architectural firm. Neutral territory, since the charity's offices occupy Marcus's apartment building, a conflict of interest nobody noticed until now. 7 board members attend. Tessa doesn't. Marcus Varron's employment is terminated effective immediately, announces board president Eleanor Walsh. We're also conducting a full financial audit. What about criminal charges? Asks Treasurer Janet Morrison. That depends on what the audit reveals. Mira distributes copies of the financial documentation I compiled. Invoice dates, bank transfers, hotel receipts, everything cross-referenced and highlighted. This is remarkable work, Eleanor admits. You should consider a career in forensic accounting. I prefer building things to tearing them down, though you seem skilled at both. The audit will take weeks, but the pattern is obvious. Marcus billed for services he never provided, using charity funds to finance his affair with the board chair's wife. The IRS will investigate. The state attorney general's office will review. The charity's reputation will survive, but Marcus's career won't. My phone buzzes with interview requests. Local news, national media, podcasters, documentary filmmakers. Everyone wants the boring husband story. I decline them all. Tessa calls at noon. We need to talk, she says, through attorneys. Hayes, please, can't we handle this privately? You made it public when you auctioned me off for laughs. You never meant to get caught. That's not fair. Fair would have been honesty 8 months ago. Fair would have been divorce papers before you started sleeping with Marcus. Fair would have been not stealing from the charity my mother founded. Silence. I'm coming to the house tonight, she says finally. I'll be at my sister's. It's my house too. For now. I hang up, then call my security company. New locks, new codes, cameras at every entrance. Installation scheduled for this afternoon. The house feels different when I return from Mira's the next morning. Tessa has been here. Perfume lingers in the bedroom. Drawers are slightly open. Papers have been moved. She took clothes, jewelry, personal items. She also searched my office, looking for additional evidence copies. She won't find any. Everything's stored digitally in multiple secure locations. My assistant Jennifer handles the media calls flooding my office. Architectural clients express support, curiosity, concern. Some are impressed by my thorough documentation. Others worry about my discretion regarding their projects. Revenge and construction don't usually mix, observes my business partner Tom Rodriguez. Good thing this wasn't about construction. Wasn't it? You built a case like you build a house? Foundation, structure, finishing work? He's right. I approach the evidence gathering like any complex project. Research, planning, execution, quality control. The same skills that design buildings also document betrayals. Sela Varron's divorce filing makes the afternoon news. Her attorney releases a statement citing financial misconduct and marital infidelity, supported by recently acquired evidence. Marcus's photo appears alongside speculation about criminal charges. I feel no satisfaction watching his reputation collapse, just relief that the truth is finally visible. Tessa's campaign office closes Wednesday. Patricia Sims releases a statement about personal circumstances requiring withdrawal from political consideration. The party leadership expresses disappointment. Donors request refunds. The carefully planned political launch becomes an expensive failure. Thursday brings the charity audit's preliminary findings. Marcus embezzled $73,000 over 8 months, not just the $47,000 I documented. He created fake vendors, inflated expenses, and diverted funds to personal accounts. The scheme would have continued indefinitely if not for his affairs exposure. He's looking at federal charges, Eleanor Walsh informs me. Mail fraud, wire fraud, tax evasion. What about the charity? We'll survive. Donors are actually increasing contributions. They appreciate the transparency. Friday evening, I sit in my empty house reviewing architectural plans for a new hospital wing. Quiet work, methodical and precise. The kind of evening Tessa would have called boring. My phone rings. Marcus Varron. Mr. Merrin, I wanted to update you on the legal proceedings. How are you holding up? Better than expected. Marcus agreed to an uncontested divorce. He's liquidating assets to pay legal fees. And the evidence? Proved invaluable. My attorney says it's the most comprehensive adultery documentation he's ever seen. I'm thorough. Indeed. About our dinner. Would next month work? The legal matters should be concluded by then. I'll look forward to it. So will I. You're far more interesting than advertised. After she hangs up, I return to the hospital plans. Clean lines, functional spaces, structures built to last. The kind of work that matters, that helps people, that creates something positive from careful planning and honest effort. The boring husband's evening, exactly as described. And for the first time in months, I'm completely content with that. 3 weeks later, Tessa makes her final mistake. She breaks into my house on a Tuesday evening while I'm supposedly at a client dinner. The security cameras capture everything. Her car in the driveway at 9:47 p.m., Marcus waiting in the passenger seat, both of them approaching the front door with obvious familiarity. They're looking for the original evidence files, the source documents that destroyed their lives. Tessa still believes she can salvage something from the wreckage if she eliminates the proof. I'm not at dinner. I'm at Mira's house, monitoring the security feed on my laptop, waiting. They're inside, I tell her, watching Tessa disable the alarm system with the old code she memorized years ago. She doesn't know I changed it yesterday specifically for this moment. Should I call the police? Mira asks. Not yet. Let them commit fully. On screen, Tessa leads Marcus through my home office, pointing out filing cabinets, computer equipment, document storage. They work systematically, searching for physical evidence, USB drives, backup files. Marcus carries a large bag, presumably for stealing whatever they find. They won't find anything. All the original documents are stored in a safety deposit box across town. The computers contain only standard architectural files. But watching them violate my home, my privacy, my space, confirms everything I believed about their character. Hayes, this is breaking and entering, Mira says. Criminal charges. I know. So why aren't we calling the cops? Because I want them to find something. I prepared for this moment. Hidden in my desk drawer underneath routine paperwork sits a manila folder labeled Personal Confidential. Inside, printed emails between Marcus and 3 other married women spanning the past 2 years. His affair with Tessa wasn't unique. It was a pattern. The emails detail his systematic approach to targeting wealthy wives involved in charitable organizations, emotional manipulation, financial exploitation, promises of divorce and remarriage that never materialized. Marcus ran a sophisticated long-term scam, using romance to access money and social connections. I acquired these emails through perfectly legal means: public records requests, social media archives, testimony from his previous victims who contacted me after the auction story went viral. Women from Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, all with similar stories of betrayal and financial loss. "There," I say, watching Tessa discover the folder. "She's found it." On screen, Tessa opens the folder, reads the first page, then calls Marcus over urgently. His face goes pale as he recognizes the contents. They're not just evidence of his broader criminal behavior, they're proof that Tessa was never special, never chosen, never loved. She was just another mark in a well-practiced con. Marcus grabs the folder, starts toward the door. Tessa follows, but her body language has changed. She's no longer his partner in crime. She's his victim, finally understanding the scope of his deception. "Now we call the police," I say. The patrol car arrives as Marcus and Tessa reach the driveway. Perfect timing. They're clearly leaving my property with stolen documents, caught in the act of burglary. The officers approach with hands on weapons, ordering them to stop. I drive home quickly, arriving as the arrests begin. Marcus tries to run, dropping the folder and scattering papers across my lawn. Tessa stands frozen beside her car, still processing the revelation that she was never Marcus's only victim. "Mr. Merrin," says Officer Patricia Williams, "we caught these individuals leaving your property with stolen materials. I'd like to press full charges." "Both of them?" "Both of them." Tessa stares at me across the police car's roof. "Hayes, please. I made mistakes, but I don't deserve this." "You deserve exactly this." "The emails about Marcus, are they real?" "Completely real. You can verify them during your court proceedings. He told me he loved me. He told Janet Morrison in Dallas the same thing, and Rebecca Chen in Austin, and Maria Rodriguez in San Antonio. You're number 4, Tessa. Maybe number 5. I stopped counting." Her face crumbles as the full scope of Marcus's betrayal becomes clear. She wasn't just unfaithful to her marriage, she was unfaithful for a lie, a manipulation, a con game that made her both perpetrator and victim. Marcus, handcuffed near the second patrol car, shouts across the lawn, "Hayes, you set us up! I documented your crimes. There's a difference. You planted that evidence." "Officer Williams, those emails are public records. I can provide the sources and verification methods." She nods, adding notes to her report. "We'll need a full statement." Of course. The arrests take an hour. Charges include breaking and entering, attempted theft, violation of a restraining order Marcus Varron filed against Marcus last week. Both will spend the night in jail, face court appearances, deal with lawyers and bail bondsmen, and the grinding machinery of criminal justice. I watch the police cars disappear down my street, carrying away the last remnants of my marriage and the final chapter of this entire mess. Mira arrives as I'm collecting the scattered emails from my lawn. "How do you feel?" she asks. "Tired, relieved, ready to move forward." "Think they'll serve time?" "Marcus will. Multiple fraud charges, federal investigation, pattern of criminal behavior. Tessa might get probation if she cooperates with prosecutors." "And you?" "I'll rebuild. New house maybe. Definitely new locks." We walk inside, surveying the damage from their search. Drawers pulled open, papers scattered, furniture moved. Nothing valuable taken or destroyed, but my space feels violated, contaminated by their desperation and greed. "I'll help you clean up," Mira offers. "Thanks. Then what?" "Then I have dinner with Marcus Varron next Friday. She called yesterday. The divorce is finalized, Marcus's assets are liquidated, and she's ready to honor our auction agreement." "Think it'll be awkward?" "Probably, but interesting. More interesting than Tessa gave you credit for. Much more interesting. I spend the weekend restoring order to my home and my life, New security system, better cameras, locks that only I control. The house feels smaller without Tessa's possessions, but also cleaner, more honest, more mine. Monday brings divorce papers requiring my signature. The settlement terms favor me heavily. Tessa's adultery and criminal charges eliminated her negotiating position. She keeps her car and personal belongings. I keep everything else. Tuesday, Marcus pleads guilty to multiple felony charges. The federal prosecutor recommends 18 months in minimum security prison, followed by 3 years of supervised probation. His victims from other cities testify via video conference, describing identical patterns of romantic manipulation and financial fraud. Wednesday, Tessa accepts a plea bargain for the breaking and entering charges. 6 months of community service, restitution for my security system repairs, and a restraining order preventing contact. Her attorney argues that she was manipulated by Marcus, essentially another victim of his schemes. The judge accepts the argument but notes that being deceived doesn't excuse criminal behavior. Thursday evening, I review architectural plans for a new project, a women's shelter funded by donations from Marcus's victims. They contacted me after reading about the auction, wanting to create something positive from their shared experience of betrayal. The building will offer counseling services, legal aid, and temporary housing for women escaping abusive relationships. Appropriate work for the boring husband, who specialized in documenting the truth. Friday arrives with perfect weather for dinner with Varron. I choose a restaurant downtown, neutral territory with excellent food and discreet service. She arrives precisely on time, elegant in a simple black dress, carrying herself with the confidence of someone who survived a public humiliation and emerged stronger. "Mr. Merrin," she says, extending her hand. "Thank you for honoring our agreement. Thank you for winning the auction. Best money I ever spent." We order wine, review menus, engage in the careful conversation of two people whose lives intersected during a moment of mutual crisis. She's intelligent, funny, surprisingly direct about the experience of discovering her husband's infidelity through a charity auction. "I suspected for months," she admits, "but suspicion isn't proof. Proof changes everything." "Indeed, your documentation was remarkably thorough. I'm an architect. Details matter. What's next for you?" "New projects, the women's shelter I mentioned, maybe some travel, definitely better locks." She laughs, genuine amusement, not the practiced social response I remember from charity events. "And personally? Honestly, I'm looking forward to being boring again, but on my own terms." Boring can be underrated, especially when it's authentic. We talk through 3 courses and 2 bottles of wine, comparing notes on marriage, betrayal, recovery, and the unexpected freedom that comes from having your worst fears confirmed and survived. She's excellent company, thoughtful, articulate, completely different from the trophy wife role she played during her marriage to Marcus. "I have a confession," she says over dessert. "What's that?" "I knew about the auction lot description weeks before the event. Tessa showed me the draft, thought I'd find it amusing." "Did you?" "I found it revealing. About her, not you." "How so?" "Someone secure in their marriage doesn't humiliate their spouse publicly. Someone guilty does." "You suspected the affair before I announced it?" "I suspected something. Your announcement confirmed everything." We finish dinner as the restaurant empties around us. The evening feels natural, comfortable, completely different from the formal charity events where we'd exchanged polite small talk while our spouses betrayed us. "This was lovely," she says as we wait for the valet. "It was. Perhaps we could do it again sometime. Without the auction drama." "I'd like that." "Good. I'll call you." I drive home through quiet streets, past the hotel where Marcus and Tessa conducted their affair, past the charity offices where they planned their future together, past all the locations that once represented my humiliation and now simply represent the past. My house sits dark and secure, protected by systems that only I control, filled with possessions that reflect my choices, my interests, my authentic self, rather than the compromise version I became during marriage. The boring husband, finally free to be as interesting as he chooses. I pour a glass of bourbon, review the women's shelter plans one more time, and settle into my favorite chair with a sense of completion that has nothing to do with revenge and everything to do with truth. Tomorrow brings new projects, new possibilities, and the quiet satisfaction of a life rebuilt on honest foundations. Exactly as boring as I want.